It's the 7th of Feb, and this is your daily debrief long form edition. Starting with Super Team DAO, and the Solana ecosystem call is happening tomorrow, February 8th, 6 p.m. UTC time. Make time for this. At the very least, watch a recording. I may not even do a TLDR. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, I'm not sure. But I will be watching it for sure. Okay, so Farcaster and Solana. I actually have heard about Farcaster, but I haven't deep dived. Crypto and Longevity with Brian Johnson. This guy is very, very cool. Cool in a maybe nerdy way. He biohacks himself to basically, his goal is to become the youngest, oldest kind of person. Like basically work out the blueprint to reverse aging. And I've followed a little bit of his stuff, but to be honest, I think this fits very, very well with crypto, especially during a bull market. If you use some of the stuff he says, you'll probably get a whole lot better in terms of intelligence, making good decisions, getting enough sleep, not degenerating on silly things that you do because you're sleep deprived. Tuning in tomorrow is good, even if it was just one guest, Brian Johnson, but we've got more guests. Deep review with Grass. I've mentioned Grass before. I have a referral for Grass that's in my links. January review with Meow. This is very good. And launch of the month. This here, I have not actually heard about it, so we'll hear about it tomorrow. But make sure you tune into this call. Next up, the Dymension airdrop went out yesterday. I told everyone to claim it, and then I didn't claim it. So this was really, really a rookie mistake by me, and I will make sure I do not do this anymore. So if you have any questions on this, I can't help you. So I'll link to this here, Crypto Cove. I don't know who he is. I haven't watched any of his content, but my assistant said this guy did a good video on it. And if this video ends up helping you out, fantastic. Coming soon, the Degen Ape Academy has a new trait pack launch. You can see a different theme here. This is all red. And, well, I'll make you guess about what this trait is actually going to have in it. I'm excited for all the trait drops, of course, but I'm excited for this one for sure. Also, if you have any Degen Trash Pandas, you can now get these mining, and they get 1 opal per day per panda. Wormhole's out here teasing so much stuff. This was quite an interesting one because it literally gave you 12 hours. So if you missed it, you missed it. So this is just for DGOD holders and UTS holders. However, to be honest, I think Wormhole is like the biggest player in terms of bringing liquidity into Solana and just sharing liquidity amongst other ecosystems. So I would join the Discord if I was you. And I know I need to do a revised tutorial, but there's a decent amount of work in this. So I'll work on that maybe next week. Basically, what Wormhole's working on is to make it safe to go between different blockchains. So they've gone ahead and they have kind of partnered with Hashflow, and what they're essentially doing is tapping into $8 billion worth of liquidity. The biggest issue with bridges is the fact that they have been compromised and the most amount of money has been extracted from bridges, from smart contract risks. So this is the issue that, we need to trust. Now, Wormhole has actually been exploited in the past. In 2021, over $400 million worth of ETH was taken. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. Now, Wormhole's backed by JUP, and JUP, they went and made sure that there was no one out of pocket for that. The thing with Wormhole is they've gone through issues, and now, in some ways it's better to be breached and to learn from it, especially a very expensive mistake like that. And then I would probably trust that protocol more if they put in more security. It's not always going to be the case, of course. If they don't put in the work afterwards, then no, but Wormhole did. So this is the bridge that I'm using the most if I'm going to go between chains. Soul Big Brain has gone and featured portals here. And I didn't even know about this, to be honest. But basically, portals is the easiest place on earth to build your own games. All examples were built within a web browser. And let's have a look at some of the capabilities. So I have to kind of dive in to this. Obviously, portals is essentially a metaverse. It had a massive run up in terms of floor price in 2021, reaching over $10,000 for a portal access card. And then, their whole goal was to get lots of people in. And I used to have chats with someone from the team, or a couple of people from the team, but I haven't heard from them in a while. I think the bear market, kind of depleted some of their resources, but I still think they've got a decent runway. So these are some of the games that you can play. Maybe I'll get in touch with the team and see if I can cover it in a little bit more detail. But if this interests you, go for it. I know that metaverses are not really the meta per se. That's something that will come along in the future for sure. Maybe it's good to be part of building it now. But I can definitely understand why people just prefer Twitter and videos, at least for now. But I do have a thesis that mid-cycle, we're going to have a situation where there's going to be some really good games out, and people will jump on those, play the game. It'll be easy, fun, and they'll have like a kind of Twitter space inside of that game, just kind of chatting amongst friends. That's how I think a lot of this could happen. It's not going to be like Fortnite or anything where it's like you're going to get killed all the time if you're not concentrating, but something just kind of walking around gathering resources, farming some stuff, what have you. That's what I think will happen, and maybe Portals will come into its own when that happens. So Solana went down yesterday. It went down for, I'm not sure how many hours, maybe like 4 or so, nothing crazy. But still, of course, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. A blockchain shouldn't go down. This is for sure. Now the bug, I don't think there's been like a post-mortem, like a tweet that's come out that's saying, what happened and whatnot. I did speak to our genius behind validator.com that runs everything and had a little bit of a chat, but still didn't get exactly why it went down. He had his ideas and had a look at the code and whatnot, and the bug had been fixed, but essentially it went up really, really quickly. Now, of course, we don't want this to happen. I understand if there's anyone from another blockchain that hasn't gone down, if they come over and they say it's centralized or what have you, I can definitely understand the viewpoints. A blockchain shouldn't go down. It is a big deal. But annoyingly, and I'm not trying to make this a lesser event, but it's kind of like a Formula One race car driving. Like if you drive a car at its limits, it will break down potentially. Like there's things that happen that are issues. If you just go and take your Toyota Corolla and just drive it everywhere, it will drive forever because one, it's engineered in a way that just won't go up to the higher limits, but at the same time, it's engineered just to be robust. And this is the thing. Unfortunately, we need a robust system, but a robust system like Ethereum means that you get 15 transactions per second, and during peak times, it's going to cost you over $1,000 in gas. Right now, it costs you like over $5 for one transaction. It doesn't work. Whereas Solana, you've got something entirely different. It's working on that top band in terms of the number of users that can actually interact with the blockchain. So that's just my kind of analogy. Of course, it's not good enough. It needs to get better, but it is still so much better than everything else out there, as far as I can tell from my own experiences. Anyway, Tolly wasn't even involved in debugging. He wasn't added to anything. He had a nap, woke up, network was up already. So this is really fantastic to see. Matty Tay's point is outages are always disappointing, inevitable, but client diversity via JUP and ANSA will help prevent outages. Some people think yes, some people think no. In many respects, I think the answer is both, but more so yes. If you have a different client and there's a bug on one client, then those validators stop working, but the other ones continue. So JUP coming along, ANSA coming along, and then probably in 10 years, having like 40 different clients, potentially, this could make a difference. Solana Legends' viewpoint is to take outages as a sign of being early, representing a unique opportunity to bet on a new category of blockchain before it was a mainstream consensus bet. Now this is very, very true. Like I'll give you an example. When like famous shoes come out on Nike's website, they can't handle the demand. Like the website crashes. If there's like a hyped launch on anything in Web 2, despite how much experience these companies have and the billions of dollars that they have, they still have failure points. It happens all the time. Optus, which is a mobile phone network in Australia, I haven't been in Australia for some time, but I believe they went down last year, caused an insane amount of loss to the companies of Australia. Now, that's a centralized solution, of course, but it's also one that's had billions and billions of dollars actively worked on its network. And they are the solutions that cater for the millions, and they still have issues. So the viewpoint is, we are early. That's just it. Yesterday, Sandbar went live. They also had a whitelist phase for Tensorian holders. This was on Tensor, and maybe this is something that happens in the future. May be giving more value to Tensorians. I don't hold one. They're doing very well. They're about $7,000 or just over in floor price. If you're thinking about getting a Solana mobile, get one before Thursday, Feb 8th. And please use my link. This mobile will be coming out mid next year. It's 450 USDC. And as I mentioned yesterday or so, I will be ordering another one. So I'll go and order another one myself. JTO holders, if you have JTO, go and participate in governance. I think we've got a couple of days to get amongst this, but let's have a look. I actually need to cover this in more detail. But for now, if you go to the forum, let's let it load, come here, create an account. At the very least, you can now read through proposals, put in your replies, and just see what's going on. I need to cover this in more detail. I will tell you that JTO has a very healthy treasury. This is to grow JTO Sol, the Solana ecosystem, etc. You can go put in a proposal. Unless you've got a decent amount of JTO tokens, you can't actually enact that proposal, but you can go and put in, a bit of a write-up here, and if someone with a decent amount of JTO likes it, they can go and propose it, and then people can vote on it. In the meantime, click here, connect your wallet with your JTO tokens, you'll see your governance power, and then go and vote for this. Everyone is voting for yes, and I will be as well. You can do as you like, but yes is my vote. I'll quickly just add that although it may not happen on Solana, it does happen in the Cosmos ecosystem. People that engage in governance tend to be far better looked after in terms of airdrops and just accruing extra value, because they're there, they've got stake in the network by holding the tokens, not just selling them, and then they're actually helping shape the network itself. If people do not do anything in governance and they just hold the token, they may reap the rewards of the token going up, but they're not there actually trying to help shape the network. Therefore, they're not actually voting. There are other things you can do, I believe, such as delegating your power to someone else, but we'll cover that in the other tutorial. The Pyth Network also has a governance vote to approve the Pyth DAO constitution. It's live. You can do this before Tuesday, February 13th, 6 p.m. UTC time, and the link is just down here. I've already covered how to stake, so just watch a video quickly on how to stake. I think it's very important. 1, you're helping the network. 2, the airdrop potential, just to be plainly transparent. Ratification of the Pyth DAO constitution. Yes, my vote will be yes. There's a very small amount of no votes, but I'm definitely going for yes. There's a huge number of votes still needed to reach approval quorum. Quorum is the minimum number of votes needed for something to actually even think of passing. If this is all yes and 0.5% no at the end, but it doesn't reach quorum, then it doesn't go ahead. So we need a lot more people voting, so go get your votes in. Jupiter's added a new feature to improve take profit and stop losses during sharp wicks and network unreliability, emphasizing fairness for traders. This may cause JLP holders to gain less in scenarios like this, but ultimately keeping things fair for traders is vital for the platform to keep growing and everyone wins. So this is very important. I love JUP 100%, but Drift is where I have any perps on. Lower fees, and it's more tested. So if you want to use JUP, go for it. Just be aware that they're still very much in beta, and it's not, it's getting fairer and fairer for traders, but it's not to the point where I would necessarily use it. But for JUP, everything else, of course, I use JUP all the time. But for the actual perps decks, if you're going to play on it, maybe play with a small amount of money, not financial advice. Phantom now has over 3 million users on Google Chrome. So I think we're going to be a couple more months, and then this will probably hit 5 million users. However, they've only got 633 ratings, not even 1% of us. So you just go here, you sign in to your Google, just scroll down, it'll say write a review. You can go give it 5 stars and give it a little bit of information on why you love the DApp. Now finally, tomorrow Kiwi will be released by the Play the Heist team. Here's a thread, everything you need to know about this. You can go through this if you like. All I want to say is tune in tomorrow. I'll make sure I've got a video on it. I'll produce it fast and get it out. The exact time when everything kicks off, I do not know, but it's tomorrow. There will be a tweet out from Play the Heist, so make sure you're just following them, and I'll also retweet it myself. That's all for today. Go get voting with your Pyth and your JTO. Stay curious, and we'll catch you tomorrow.